All right, quiet on the set.
This is Guy Schoenfon here with Mr. Wenham, the teacher of broadcast technology class and basic media.
And basic media, yeah.
So how long have you worked here at DY?
I lose track. I think I've got 14 full years. Either I've got 14 years behind me or this is year 14. So 14 to 15 years.
How were you like in high school?
What was I like in high school?
Yeah.
Well, it was the 80s, so my hair was different. I wasn't athletic. I was an academic. I could have done a lot better than I did. But I was involved in student government. I was president of the student council. I was involved in drama club. I acted in a school musical. So I was involved. I look back now and I wish that I had done more than I did. But I did a lot of stuff. I was on the yearbook staff, so I was an involved student. I wish my grades had been about a half to a letter grade high. If I knew then what I know now, my grades would have been a lot higher.
Did you major in broadcasting in college?
When I left high school, I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. And I went to UConn to get a psychology degree. And I realized about 3/4 of the way through that I would have been the worst psychologist in the history, because by nature, I'm kind of a sleepy person. So like if I was a psychologist and you were my patient, you'd be telling me all of your troubles and I'd eventually end up like that. So I just realized that it was not gonna work for me. You know, I would have put in a lot of work to be a mediocre psychologist at best. So I did notice that I was spending a lot of time playing with, I had an old beat up video camera, spending a lot of time playing with that, and decided that I wanted to study film and video. So I went to North Carolina, to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and got into their video program.
Do you have any interesting stories from videotaping, playing around with your camera, going up to being a teacher?
Before I became a teacher?
Yeah.
So when I was in college, I used to investigate haunted places. And we used to take the video camera along with us. So we'd like go off in the woods at midnight to these supposedly haunted abandoned towns, and that was a lot of fun. You know, I've often thought about getting back into that, but I've got no time. So
what's life been like as a teacher?
It's the funny thing about teaching is you have your up days and your down days. You have days where you really connect and things are clicking and you can see kids make connections and it's wonderful and you leave energized. And then there are days when nothing seems to work, the equipment isn't working, the kids aren't on task, and it's extremely frustrating. So it's lots of highs and lots of lows. But in the end, I hope that kids will look back on their high school experience and feel that being in my classroom was a valuable experience, and that they actually learned something. You know, this class here, this broadcast technology class, it's my hope that you guys will have a greater sense of community, because everything you do is supposed to go on Channel 22. It's supposed to inform the people of Dennis and Yarmouth what goes on in the school. What are the exciting and interesting things that are going on? What's the great learning that's going on? So by doing that, I hope you have. I hope you feel a little bit more connected to the dolphin community by being in this class. That's my goal anyway.
What are some of your hobbies outside of school?
Well, I love photography, which is kind of just a partner to the video work. I actually do very little video work now, but I love still photography. I'm a writer. So in the summertime, I just write all summer long. I've had two books published, which I'm very proud of. And I love to cook in the garden. I love to cook, like from scratch, like from nothing. I hope so. My wife seems to think so. But like I get crazy about it. Like I don't buy if I can grow a spice, I don't buy it in the grocery store. I grow it. And then midway through the summer, I dry it, and then I use my own spices all winter long until the next season. So, my own crushed red pepper, my own basil, my own all that's, you know, I mean, I really, when I say I go from scratch, I mean, I go from scratch.
You mentioned that you wrote 2 books. How did you feel to write those 2 books?
You know, if anybody had told me when I was your age or that I would one day write a novel, I would have said, you're crazy. I didn't have the discipline to write a novel. I mean, that's, I mean, this is my first book here, and like, that's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. Who's going to spend the time to do that? But I did it, you know, through regular discipline, getting up every day and writing for 2 or 3 hours. And over the course of a summer, I was able to produce a novel. And in the end, when you're done, when you write that last page and you look at this stack of papers and you realize, oh my God, I just wrote a book. It's a wild feeling. It's a wild feeling. And then when you eventually get it in print, when you actually hold it in your hand, it's surreal. It's like it's like, I can't believe I did this. And I hope that feeling never goes away. If I end up publishing 10 or 12 books, you know, knock on wood, then I hope that feeling never goes away because it's magical.
What's your favorite part about DY High School?
Lately, since last year, or maybe halfway through the year before, I have noticed a tremendous upsurge in pride in the school, pride in being a DY Dolphin, and that has been great. You know, today is the first Monday after our Super Bowl win, the undefeated season, you know, the first time in Dennis Yarmouth history that has ever happened, you know, and I'm wearing my undefeated t-shirt today because it's amazing for the school. Last year we had the Lip Dub, which turned out to be remarkable. The Poetry Out Loud experience, which I was directly involved in, was absolutely phenomenal. And I just think it's a great time to be a DY Dolphin, you know. I know you're going to ask me about the online stuff, right? Okay, so can we jump to that question? Because it's kind of dovetails into that. The thing that, and I read some of those postings. The thing that I loved about it most, 2 things. Number one, on one of the posts, I was able to go, because somebody was ranting and raving about whatever, and I was able to go in and say, hey, listen, you know, you can say whatever you want, but if you really want to see how the kids feel about this school, here, go follow this link. And I put in a link to YouTube, which actually showed our senior last assembly and how the kids felt about the school and how the kids celebrated the school. And you could watch the entire ceremony and judge for yourself what the kids feel about being Dolphins. And that was very rewarding. But what was even more rewarding was the most recent one. I didn't know anything about it until Monday morning. And what had happened over the weekend was whoever this person is, this anonymous person, had posted things about the school. The kids got a hold of it. They started passing it around Facebook. They got upset because they love the school. And they started posting responses. There were, I don't know, 8, 10 responses before I even heard about it of kids stepping up and saying, no, you have it wrong. You know, it's one thing when teachers step up to defend, but when it's the kids stepping up and saying, hey, this is a great place to be, that's what I take away from it, because I was so impressed with the way the kids handled it.
Is there something that us students here don't know about you?
They know that I'm a Star Trek fan. That's no secret. So no, my life is pretty much an open book. Yeah, it pretty much is what it is. So.
How long do you keep on planning to teach here?
At least for the next 15 minutes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine teaching at another school.
I think that's all we have time for. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for a fun interview. This was great.